Hi guys, happy Friday. Welcome to the morning after. I am your host, Sharleen Joynt, and today we are recapping episode 4 of season 16 of The Bachelorette, starring Claire Crawley for now. Let's get right to it. You guys know that I start off every morning after with a moment that delivered, brought to you by Skip the Dishes, a wonderful service that delivers delicious food to your door. My moment that delivered was when Claire showed some misgivings about Dale being pressured to propose. This really stood out to me. It really proved that the proposal thing truly was production's idea. The fact that she needed to be convinced to okay Dale being pressured showed that she really does value this relationship and it's not just about her fairy tale whatever. I really love how she kept her wits about her with this, even if ultimately production and Chris Harrison did sort of change her mind. I found this part a little bit manipulative on their part, but I really loved this moment of level-headedness from Claire because in my opinion it was much needed. It showed that she recognized it might not be the best for her relationship to feel that pressure so early on, and it just made the whole thing more human and more relatable, and I needed that from her and I really related to it. So you guys know that next time you're craving something spicy to go with your Bachelorette drama, you should use the Skip app to get delicious food delivered to your door. Okay, we're gonna go in chronological order as usual. The episode starts off with Chris Harrison visiting Claire. I liked this conversation a lot. It felt very authentic. When Chris Harrison just looked her dead in the eye and said, "Don't bullshit me. Did you talk to Dale before you came?" It felt authentic. Her reaction was authentic. She told a story about the Mother's Day Instagram posts and admitted that she'd stalked his social media. It just felt like a gratifying conversation after so many weeks of just us scratching our heads and not really buying how little they supposedly had before this show began. And Claire said that they had never spoken, and I've got to say I believed her. One thing Claire is not is a liar. So it might be kind of hard to believe for skeptics out there like myself, but at the same time, who am I to say I'm not in the relationship? So Claire has her sort of one-on-one date thing with Dale, and gosh, I loved this date. I love this conversation. It really was the kind of conversation that you sort of hope for on one-on-one dates, but that you don't always get. Oftentimes it feels a bit more like, oh, I'm going to tell you my backstory now. But with Claire and Dale, it really felt like they were both just sort of telling their stories about their parents and how they dealt with their parents' passings and how they had suppressed their sorrow throughout that. And just even how their fathers had both hitchhiked to get back to their mothers. It was really, to then propose, it was just very romantic, and it felt, I gotta say, something about the aligned hitchhiking stories did feel rather serendipitous, and even the skeptic in me was like, oh, that's really sweet. And yay, Bree and Chris from Listen to Your Heart. That was a very nice cameo, and they sounded amazing. So the next morning we have a little bit more of Claire and Dale. You kind of get the sense that Claire is pushing Dale for more of his insights or thoughts on what will happen moving forward. But I did kind of get the feeling that this was lending to the overall edit, that Claire is more into Dale than he is her. Of course, that was the big question of the episode. So I didn't put too much stock in these like morning, bedtime, breakfast moments. I did feel bad for the other men, however. We saw several man chats, and I just felt bad for them. You know, you might think, oh, who cares about them? They're just lounging by the pool and eating and working out and whatever, but it's not as simple as that. You know, they're being prompted to talk about this several times a day. It would get pretty trying after a while, I think. So finally, Claire does visit the guys and tells them what's going on. She's going to leave with Dale. I thought Claire handled this pretty well, all things considered. You didn't get the sense that she didn't care about the men, which was what has bothered me about past episodes, or mainly episode 3. That's what really bothered me. If you read my Claire recap, you know that I was just annoyed at the sense of just a lack of consideration for the men and their time. And I really appreciated how in this moment you felt like she felt bad for them. And the second they showed a little bit of compassion, I think starting with Jason, she just melted down and wanted a group hug. And it was, I gotta say, a feel-good moment that sort of redeemed her in my eyes with regards to how she treated the men. Okay, now this was obviously the most forced and annoying part of the episode was the proposal discussion. I just did a recap with Nick on his podcast, Nick Vile, and we did discuss this, how the show didn't even hide the fact that it was them pushing the proposal. They didn't even pretend it was Claire's idea. I mean, this is really pushing it. 9 weeks is already a stretch, and they've known each other for what? 2 to 3 weeks. It's just a lot. It's almost like it's not enough for him to just reciprocate her feelings. It's like he has to be there with a ring and ready to go. And I felt bad for certainly both of them, but especially him in this regard. In general, the whole season so far has been, but how does Dale feel? We haven't seen a ton from Dale, not a ton of his ITMs, not even much interaction with him and other men unless it was sort of heated. And so this was definitely used, I think, long term to give us that sense of, but what if? Does he feel the same way? And of course we know that he eventually does, but I think it finally added up why we haven't seen anything from Dale's perspective in the last several weeks. And the proposal, this was very sweet. I rolled my eyes a bit when Chris Harrison first came out to make it seem like Dale might not be proposing, but in the end, of course, he did propose, and this was just a sweet scene. You really did feel like Claire was getting that happy ending, even though I have gripes with calling a proposal an ending of any kind, but that's a separate discussion. Even a skeptic like myself was touched watching this. They both seem really happy. And for me, it was really one of those like, what the hell do I know moments. Like, I'm not in the relationship. I don't know what they share. They just both seem really happy and on the exact same wavelength. And yeah, I hope it works out. I really do wish them all the best. And finally, it's the next day. The men are sort of debating whether they should stay or go. Of course, Chris Harrison gives them tons of time and tells them that they must know by that very evening and be dressed and ready to go for yet another night one. To me, it's not surprising that every guy here stayed. I don't blame them for feeling ripped off. They didn't really get their true bachelorette experience. And most of the time, this is why you go on this show. It's not necessarily because you think you're gonna find love, but because you want this weird, wacky, once-in-a-lifetime experience that happens to be televised. So I give props to all the guys for sticking with it. Especially since I can only imagine how the weeks leading up to this have been very, very patience testing. For me, the closing line that mattered here was Kenny saying, "I like the fact that we know nothing about her. That's way better." And I wrote, "Yup," in my notes. I don't know if all these guys will even know who Tayshia is, so there is that sense of it being a true blind date on both sides. All right, you guys, that's it for the morning after. As you can see, I did not mind this episode. I thought it was a little slow at times, but for the most part, it was at least feel good, which I really needed after last week's episode. Be sure to check out my Flair recap, my All the Pretty Pandas recap, which will come out later. And yeah, I'll see you guys here next week on the morning after. Bye.